Ladies and gentlemen, EuroLeague fans alike, we are back. It's the takeoff. And we're going to start this episode after an incredible double week last week with a little game. Believe it or not, that's going to be the game that we're going to play right now. My man Dane is in the house with me. I got to believe it or not. Give me something about Maccabi Tel Aviv, who's just, they've had this year where they're like not at home. It's kind of crazy. What do you got? Believe in them or don't you believe in them?
Well, what do you think? You're Ripley's? I mean, what is this? Ripley's Believe It or Not? I'll start calling you Jeeves around here. But
it's a new little game.
I mean, I wanted to be on the fence about Maccabi. I really did because, I mean, you see their quality of schedule and it's not too impressive. But you know this league is like your parenting style. It's always, what have you done for me lately? And what has Maccabi done? They won 5 in a row. And you look at Zalgiris, okay, Savannah, Alba, Asvel, who, I mean, lately they're playing like the 96 Bulls, but Bayern, it's not the greatest teams. But they're winning, and they're winning at the right time. And they've won 3 of those games on the road. So we know how hard it is to win games on the road. You do it at the right time. You build up those sort of wins and confidence all the while. It's huge, man. It's huge what they're doing. And you talk about the teams that are coming into the play-in, fighting for the play-in. Maccabi's comfortable right there. I'm thinking they're the best team. They're in the best shape. They're coming in sort of, they're coming in cruising right now, to cruising altitude. They're not forcing it too much.
You can't cruise in the EuroLeague, bud. Ain't no cruising in the EuroLeague, especially with 3 games left.
We're cruising for a bruise, and that's what you're doing right now.
I'll tell you who I don't believe in. That's Virtus Bologna. These guys are doing the best impression of my favorite Tom Petty song ever. Can you?
Dude,
yeah.
Wait,
Give it to me.
I don't know. Who is Tom Petty? I wasn't born in the 40s.
Free falling, baby. You have to be born in the 40s for
God.
that. Jerry
I thought Tom
Maguire,
Cruise
the
sang
whole
that
thing.
song.
Listen, 1-5 in the last 6. They lost those games by an average of 10.3 points a game. And here's like the most uncanny thing that they could possibly do. The last 3 games, they've lost by 15 points. To Cervena Vesda, Zalgiris, and Real Madrid. Each game by 15 points. Giving up 93 points a game. I'm telling you what, there's those 8 teams that we're going to talk about in a minute that are fighting for that 10 spot are licking their chops to get some Italian food in them.
Yeah, they're lining up. I mean, they're lining up like a mortadella shop right now. But yeah, that team, if it was 2018, like I said, they'd be rolling right now. They'd be a title favorite. But I don't think they got any chance.
I look a lot younger too if it was 2018, but that ain't getting me anywhere. Hey,
I wouldn't have any gray hair.
Hey, double week last week. Who had the best double week? That's the question. That's like always my favorite. Who had the best double week in the right time?
I'm tempted to say Zalgiris because it was do or die for them. I'm tempted, but you got to say Milan. Look at what those 2 wins did for them. 2 wins again, and are you kidding me? They win 2 wins on the road all year long, and they wait to go to Monaco to snap an 8-game win streak, 9-game win streak. What? Messina's got to just be loving life right now. I mean, last year he waited too long to make this run. Now he's made the run, and you know what? They know where their muffin is buttered. And what do you keep doing? You keep buttering that muffin right now. Mirotic and Shavan and Mirotic. Keep those boys rolling.
They
gotta go into the devil's den.
There ain't no buttered muffins in Bologna. That's Italy, man. Give me a pasta. Give me something about pasta, like Parmesan cheese or something. I'll tell you what. You said it though. Zalgiris did have a good double week. They did good, but they didn't put themselves in position to be in that 10th place the way Milan did. But I will say one thing about that victory. The way my man Trincardi, we love him. We love anybody in the press loves this guy, right? He's doing everything that he needs to do, saying everything he needs to say. This guy's looking for a lifetime contract to live in Kaunas.
Why does he want that?
I don't know, but it's a double week, and he's loving it. He won both games. He blew teams out at home, and he's like, man, give me the lifetime contract here in Žalgiris Kaunas. But let's talk about, forget that. Let's talk about who didn't have a good double week. Barcelona just got taken out into the back shed and got whooped last week. And now all of a sudden, they're in fourth place, and it's tight. It's really, really tight.
Are they in trouble? That's the big question. Are they in trouble? And I think there's some holes in the boat starting to appear. But the conspiracy theorist in me, and you know I love a nice conspiracy theorist, but the conspiracy theorist in me wants to say this is all Ricky Rubio's fault. I mean,
oh, come on.
They've lost 3 of 5 since he's joined the team.
I know.
They lost to Monaco, they lost to Fenerbahce, they lost to Panathinaikos. Granted, those are good teams. I get it. Those are very good teams.
The playoff teams.
They're playoff teams. Could be 3 of the 4 top 4 teams. That's still a long way to go. We'll get to kind of all that stuff in a bit. But Barcelona right now, if I'm them, I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried because I don't see them as a team that has that sort of killer instinct. There's no Mirotic. There's no one to really depend on right now. And like I was talking about, it's not just Ricky Rubio. Joku Baitis is averaging about 4 points a game. He's only getting about 10, 12 minutes a game. His numbers go down, and I think he's a big, important part of that team off the bench.
Huge. He's huge, and then it might be Ricky Rubio's presence is kind of taken away from Jokubaitis right now. But they do have the luck of the schedule. But they got Bayern on the road. Bayern's still, in a mean fight to try to get in. You got Maccabi at home, and then you got LDLC, who, like you said, all of a sudden they're at home. They're a tough team, and they got to go to France and play. But I think they're going to take care of business. It might be a bumpy road, but I think they're going to take care of business.
Yeah, I see you, Chris, with the time. I'm going to go over. Stop with this. I got something to say right now. Fenerbahce.
They choked.
And I'll tell you where it came from. It came from that third quarter against Barcelona. I was watching that game. They were up 40-15, and all of a sudden, they lose it like that. It was within 3 to start the fourth quarter. And you see that and you go, what? This team that's been playing this well for this long, and they're going to give up. This is how. And they ended up winning the game, but that didn't matter. It didn't matter. It showed that little bit of weakness. It showed that little bit of vulnerability. And all of a sudden, you just start to see that maybe this team's aura of invincibility is just starting to dim a little bit. And then you see exactly, it takes immediate impact in the next game against Milan. So Fenerbahce right now is a team that I think is in more trouble than Barcelona, and it happened in a 10-minute span at the end of the season. And if they don't end up getting home court, which is going to be tough because they'll have to play a 3, a 4, or a 5, and that's going to 4, a 3, or a 2, and they were just loving the fact that they had a chance for home court advantage.
At 10 minutes doesn't mean nothing. They'll be fine. They're going to be fine. They're going to get right back on a roll.
It wouldn't be the first time I'm right on this show, and it's definitely not going to be the last time.
Well, it might be the first time. But, hey, I think we haven't even talked about one single game yet, but there's one that I'm looking at. It's Baskonia-Efes. I watched Efes almost blow that game last week against Helva. And Baskonia just had a tough week also. But now Baskonia at home, playing Efes, win, and they're in. It's play in, but it's not automatically in the playoffs. What do you got on this game? Because, listen, this is like when people talk about the 11th and 12th place team not getting in. It's like, well, just win a couple more games and shut up and stop complaining about the not getting there. But now Baskonia has a chance to do this at home. Are they going to get it done?
Now there's no excuse. You can't have any excuse when you're the bottom couple of teams, trying to fight because you've got 2 extra chances. And so Baskonia right now, what they've got is a bit of a problem of time sort of dividing because they're struggling in ACB right now.
That's exactly the thing.
They're outside of the playoff picture in ACB right now. And so they've got to kick it into gear there, which makes this game an even more must-win situation. Because after Ephes, who do they have? They've got Madrid and they've got Virtus. That's a tough game. It's always a tough game against Madrid. Always difficult to beat them, especially in the Whizzing Center. But you don't want to leave it to that last round matchup against Virtus where anything could happen. They want to seal it right now.
I'll tell you what, if they could just get that game against Virtus and take 7th place instead of 8th, it's a little bit more money from me. I'm heading to Bascone to commentate the game.
There we go. We knew you'd sneak it in there. We knew you would. But how about Ephes, man? Tyreek Jones was with that block to end the game. That? I mean, that was Anthony Edwards like.
I had to look at it a couple times. Like, was that goaltending or not? But he got that as clean as anything.
He got up like I used to get up back in the day.
Yeah, right. Dude, last thing before we cut out of here.
Touch the net.
Last thing before we cut out. What's the better race right now as we're watching this league? Because a couple weeks ago it was Madrid, Barca, and maybe Panathinaikos, Barcelona. Now all of a sudden you got 6 teams that are fighting for that 3rd and 4th and 2nd place to get home court advantage. Or is it 10th place where there's like 7 teams fighting for that spot?
Well, I don't think we can overlook the play-in, can we? While the top 4, obviously, number 1 is all set to go, but 2, 3, 4, and then you got Olympiacos and Fener right there, and it's anybody's guess. I mean, you think Pana, after the win over Barcelona, they should be in. Monaco, they're coming off of a long win streak. They'll get back into it, I think, and they got an easy schedule cruising the rest of the way. I don't know, man. You look at the bottom 10. It's so fascinating because it seemed like Partizan was in, and then boom, they lose to Madrid. And Milan comes up with 2 shock victories. And how great is it with this Milan Zalgiris game that we previewed earlier? But we're talking about a game that is vitally important between a 10th place and a 15th place team with 3 weeks to go in the season.
Now, you called it before. It's control your own destiny, and right now Milan's got themselves into that position. I'm more intrigued with that 10th place thing. Every time I look at the periods of this week, next week, the last week, it's like, oh my God, how does EuroLeague do this? How do they do it every year that it just comes out to be like that? It's amazing. It's like some kind of Nostradamus type thing where they know exactly who's going to be where, when they need to play each other. It's crazy.
We talked about the number to get in. How many wins would it take to get into the play-in, that first play-in? And everybody wants to be in this first play-in. Obviously, nobody in the top 6 wants to be in the first play-in, but everybody chasing from on the outside in, they want to be a part of it because you never know what could happen. You could get hot at the right time and breeze by, but obviously, like we said, you try to avoid those bottom 2 spots at all costs because that's two games you got to win to get into the playoffs. And like we said, those are road games, and not many teams win road games unless you're Milan these days.
To finish up, man, the last place team to get in, is be finding Madrid. They'll be coming here to Madrid to play the first 2 games of the playoff. The other team, they have no idea who they're getting yet. Is it going to be Monaco, Panathinaikos? And just imagine, as I'm going to check out here right now, imagine Panathinaikos and Olympiacos in 4th and 5th place. It's a possibility.
Will we rather them in the playoff? I think this is a subject for another show, but would we rather a playoff series or would we rather them in the Final Four together?
I'm going to tell you what, I don't know what I'd rather have, but I'm about to go call my travel agent right now and book me some tickets to Athens just in case. I want to see that. My man.
All right,
Great
we are
job.
set, man. That
Great
was
job
fun.
today.
I crushed you again, 15 minutes, and I wiped the floor with you. But hey, you always got next week. Just 3 more weeks in the regular season. Enjoy this one, everybody. The takeoff has officially started this round. Get that wise ass smirk off your face, my man.
Word had it. You sucked last week.